everybody gets results with keto. We hear that over and over, and yet you started keto, lost 10 or 15 pounds, and now you're stuck. And you're left wondering, why is it that everybody else posts 100-pound, I posted 80-pound weight losses in 5 months. That's what I did. And yet you can't lose. And you're left wondering, what the heck is wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Why can't I lose weight? I'm here to tell you the real reason that you're not losing weight. Because it's not just about the food. It's about the feeling that you're not really in control of your choices. The feeling that your cravings are running the show. Because that's actually the real trap. That feeling that you're not in control comes from the constant search for easy keto. We used to call this lazy keto, or even at some points we called it dirty keto. And basically, it's the fact that keto is presented as if you just need to do a very simple something and weight's going to fall off of you. And it absolutely hides the part that this is a system that's trying to overcome the fact that you have been overeating carbohydrates because you're addicted. And if you don't understand that, then what ends up happening is that you don't get set free by keto. You end up looking for the easy way to not engage your addiction, which you don't even know you have. And so therefore, looking for easy keeps you stuck, which in essence means that easy is actually the thing that's holding you back from getting the results that you desperately want to see. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Violet, and I know the feeling that you're having because I lived it. I lost 80 pounds when I finally figured out that the reason I was overeating was because I wasn't actually in control of what I was eating, even though I'm the one that puts the food in my mouth. And I know it sounds weird to say that I wasn't in control, but I had to figure out how to get back into the driver's seat so that I could stop my own cravings from running away from me. And today what I want to do is to give you the same clarity that I've come to have. Please subscribe. The first thing I need you to understand is that the idea that keto is easy is a lie. And I'm not saying that you are not putting in enough effort. I'm not trying to call you lazy. You have been presented keto as if it's easy, as if it's simple, as if it's something you can just do, and that I can give you a list of foods, you eat them, and the weight's just going to fall off of you. And those lists of foods often involve keto-friendly cookies, meals, snacks. So you're being presented with the idea that we can buy some products or make some special desserts, and somehow eating low-carb bread and keto-friendly bars is going to help you to lose weight. I'm trying to help you to understand that that is a lie. It's a trick. And so the best way that I can explain this to you is if your friend was trying to help you to find a mate, so he's going to set you up on a date, and your friend asked you to describe the ideal person to walk alongside you in your life. And you gave your friend a very broad description of someone who's between the age of 20 and 80, who might be somewhere between the height of 5 feet and 7 feet tall. And they maybe work, but maybe not. Like, that doesn't really matter to you. If you're pretty much telling your friend that you'll accept anyone, what you're really saying about yourself is that you're not worthy. Basically, a person of value isn't going to want me. And that places zero value on you and what you bring to the relationship, Wellness Warrior. Lazy Keto says that you won't put in the effort. So here's some keto labeled garbage so you can feel like you're doing something while you sit over there and fail. Over and over again, you're going to eat products that are promising to help you lose weight. And it's just the same processed foods that you've always been eating, packaged differently. And the worst part is they don't even taste as good. You aren't learning why the home cooked meals that you used to eat were causing you to gain weight, even though home cooked meals should be the healthiest things you could possibly do for yourself. You aren't learning why buying a burger at the fast food joint and throwing away the bun doesn't help you to lose weight. You're still gaining. It's contributing to the stall you're living. You're actually being tricked into stalling your diet by following the instructions that these well-intentioned keto influencers are giving you. And it's because the people that are encouraging them to sell you these products are the ones who don't have the good intentions. So what I'm really trying to get you to see is that the advocates of lazy keto, the advocates of easy weight loss, are the people who don't want you to know that the food you're eating isn't actually food. It's a money-making machine. These companies are willing to spend a lot to give people like me sponsorships so that I will promote their products and convince you that eating this stuff is going to help you to lose weight, even though I didn't eat that stuff when I was trying to lose weight. Now, a lot of people in my situation will say, but when I was losing the weight, these things weren't available. Now they're available to make your life easier. And what I'm going to point out, Wellness Warrior, is that's actually not true. These products are not available today to make our life easier, because when keto first came on the scene, when carnivore first came on the scene, which is basically taking, encouraging everybody to go back to eating how our ancestors ate. That's what it was. When it came on the scene, the food companies stepped in and said, this isn't healthy. You're eliminating a food group. You're going to create health problems. I want to point out, we were not eliminating a food group. Anybody who does keto is completely still eating carbohydrates. Every single meal could have carbohydrates and was encouraged to have carbohydrates as long as you didn't eat more than 20 grams worth. So really, we weren't eliminating a food group. What we were doing was we were going back to eating the amount that our ancestors ate, which meant that what we were actually eliminating was our ability to eat processed food. Because when you eat processed food, so like this kind of stuff, what you're actually doing is saying that if the maximum I can eat in a day is 20 grams of carbs, well, this stuff, one serving of this stuff is 25 grams of carbs. Right away, I'm over the amount. And I would have eaten at minimum 2 servings because there's 4 servings in here. This is pasta, by the way. 4 servings in there. There's no way. I might have actually eaten the whole bag. I probably would have eaten, the whole bag. Wellness Warrior. The companies that were promoting easy keto wanted us to be overeating their products. Now, they eventually, when they realized that keto wasn't going to go away, came out with healthy keto products, which was just processed garbage repackaged with keto labels, because they wanted us to eat their stuff, because that's the only way that they make money. How did I figure all this out? I didn't learn to do keto the new way, the way that people are being explained it today. Real keto advocates do not promote you eating junk, because they want you to eat real food, whole foods. They want you to heal your body. But part of the problem is, in order for a real keto advocate to explain this to you, they need to do long videos talking about the science of what food does to our body, which is sometimes boring for most people. It's long, it's complicated. Sometimes we don't understand the science of what they're trying to explain. So they're not fun videos. These channels are encouraging you to stop eating for fun, which again, not what we're used to hearing. They want you to solve the sugar addiction that you actually have, not what we're used to hearing. You don't even know that you have a sugar addiction because why? Because the companies that want you to eat their products don't want you to know that you have a sugar addiction, because they're the one that have encouraged you to have the sugar addiction in the first. So again, I'm throwing a lot of information at you, I know, but what I'm trying to get you to see is that the people who are pushing easy keto are the people who want you to be tempted by easy. They want you to want the weight loss so badly, but not want to give up cookies, not want to give up ice cream. They want you to want to have your cake and eat it too. They're going to teach you how to make a keto version of cake that doesn't taste as good. Trust me, I made them. They don't taste great. They're going to help show you to make keto cookies. Okay, I'll admit some of the keto cookies I did enjoy, but then you have the trap that you end up overeating them, because that's part of the trap. The stuff that tastes good, you overeat. The stuff that doesn't taste good makes you want to eat the real thing, and you end up eating off plan. Here's the problem. We want you to understand that keto works. And these companies come along and they tempt us with money so that we tempt you with products. And then for those of us who need the money, we first of all, we want you to watch our videos because YouTube pays us for you watching these videos. And then we want you to buy the products because the companies pay us if you buy the products. And this is the way that some of us support our families. Now, I'm saying some of us. I don't support my family through these videos. Would I like to be able to support my family through these videos? Of course I would. But am I willing to throw you under the bus to support my... No, I'm not willing. I am absolutely livid, angry, upset, annoyed, frustrated that I was overweight and in pain for 23 years. I was overweight and obese for like 10 years and not understanding why I couldn't get my life back under control because I was believing these lies. So yes, I understand right now that what I'm saying to you is not every person talking to you about keto and carnivore is speaking to you from a position of giving you only the good information. And you probably should be questioning what I'm saying too. At the same time, I'm saying it because I need you to see that anyone who's pushing easy is not being honest with you, because there is no way to easily get over an addiction. And what you need to understand is that companies for years have been tricking us into becoming addicted to carbohydrates, to sugar. Carbohydrates and sugars are two words for the same stuff. How did they do that? They've convinced us that we need to eat cereal and bread and starchy vegetables, and that we should be having fruits several times a day. And then when influencers come along and maybe they see that we don't need to eat that much fruit, but they're still trying to make it easy for you, and they're trying to get you to buy the company products, but maybe they're not pushing the company products as hard, but they're telling you that you could still have it easy if you throw the bun away off the burger. Or, you do keto 90% of the time and you allow yourself that cheat once in a while. Wellness Warrior, what they're not allowing you to see, because maybe they don't even see it, and that might be part of the problem, that some of these influencers weren't overweight. Some of these influencers didn't have health problems, and they found keto before they were as far down the rabbit hole as I was. What they might not, or maybe they didn't take the time to learn from the doctors like I did. And what they're not sharing with you, because maybe they don't know, is that if you kick yourself out of ketosis, to get back in, if you still have metabolic issues, can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days. So if I eat off plan on Saturday or Friday, and I get back on plan the following day, if I have metabolic issues, well, first of all, when you eat off plan once, most people feel like, well, I've already messed up. And so you might eat off plan for several meals, which might span over more than one day. But let's assume that you only did one day. I ate off plan on Saturday. I was right back on plan Sunday, but I got kicked out of ketosis. Well, now what's happening is that if I have metabolic issues, likely it will take me 5 days to get back into ketosis. How do I know if I have metabolic issues? If I still have weight to lose, that's the most obvious sign that I still have metabolic issues. If I have any kind of inflammation issue, joint pain counts as an inflammation issue. Puffiness counts as, so if I have any kind of, I will probably take 5 days to get back into ketosis. So I ate off plan Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is my 5th day. And then Friday, I will be eating okay. But if I let myself, now that's a 7-day bite. I was in ketosis for 1 day. If I let myself eat off plan, what's happening? I'm back in the problem. Let's imagine for a second, though, that you're good and you don't have metabolic issues. The new question is, why would I have eaten off plan? So if I had cravings, which I forgot to say, that's another sign that you have metabolic issues. So if I had cravings and that's why I ate off plan, I still have metabolic issues. But if I ate off plan because there was a party, so Saturday, and 3 days to get back in, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and if I don't eat off plan again, I'm good. But Wellness Warrior, there's a lot of you out there that are eating off plan every weekend because I was so good all week. And companies bank on this. We reward ourselves for doing good behavior. The problem that I'm trying to show you is that if you reward yourself with the thing that you're doing the good behavior from, you're sabotaging yourself. And we see it clearly when we talk about drinking. If I, on Saturday, reward myself for making it through a full week of not drinking by having a drink, I understand that I just sabotaged myself. So why isn't it the same when I have a cookie or I have ice cream or I have cake? The thing that sends me off the rails. When I have pizza, the thing that used to send me off the rails was pizza and chocolate. Now, there's a lot of people who are going to say that if I get back to goal weight, then I don't need to keep feeding myself the healthy new way that I've been feeding myself. And there are a lot of people that will see that they get to goal weight and that's when they start to struggle. That's when their body isn't either feeling great or their body, they're feeling pushed and craving and chasey again. And the new question is, why is it that I do better, but then I start to struggle again? And all these women are posting their stories and they've lost 100 pounds and they kept it off for years. I lost 80 pounds 7 years ago and I'm still at my healthy weight. Why am I struggling? Why am I eating off plan? And here's the other thing that I want to help you understand, Wellness Warrior. First of all, my trajectory from 80 pounds overweight to goal weight, although it was only 5 months, I did have one period of time in there where my weight loss stopped for I would say a week and a few days. I didn't panic. I kept doing what I was doing and it continued. I have no clue why it paused and I have no clue why it resumed. I just kept eating on plan. I trusted the process. Okay. But when I made it to goal weight and I was eating keto, at some point in the process, I was eating 20 grams of carbs or less every day. And then all of a sudden, my inflammation came back and I was still eating less than 20 grams of carbs. I was at 18 when my pain happened. And what I started to understand, because I was following doctors, and the doctors helped me to understand that it's 20 grams of carbs or less. Okay. So again, I'm talking about the fact that keto is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. I needed to see that as my body progressed, as my body was feeling better, my body asked me for more. And this is what happens when we heal. If you're doing it right, if you're giving your body everything that it's actually asking for, it will ask you for more. So the way that I want you to think about this is, it's like you have a room in your house that is completely cluttered and dirty. And it's just like you throw all the stuff that you don't know what to do with in that room. It is not being used to its full potential because it's not even being used. It's basically a storage room. And one day you decide, you know what, I'm fed up. I want to use that room. So you go into the room and you start pulling things out and figuring out where should each of the things that are in there that don't belong in there go? And the things that should be in that room, where should they be? How should this room be organized? And you completely transform this room from a storage room to a very usable a secondary living room. So now you have this secondary living room. So when you and your spouse are watching in one room and the kids want to watch something else, they've got a room to go to. They can watch television or play video games or whatever the heck they want to do over there. And the kids are good. They keep the room neat, and so everything goes back in its place. There's a place for everything, and the kids put everything back in their place. When they finish playing video games, they put their controllers where they belong. They put the remote where it belongs. And you live the next 5, 6, 7 months very happy with the room until finally, after 7 or 8 months, you're not feeling happy with the room again. And what you realize is that, yes, the room is completely organized, but we haven't been cleaning the room, right? We haven't been mopping the room. We haven't been dusting or cleaning the counter surfaces. The room is organized, but now it's dusty and the floors are dirty. Wellness Warrior, when you first cleaned up and cleared out the room, you were so happy with it. But it doesn't change the fact that once we get to a certain level, now there's a new level. And our body is the same way. Yes, when you were eating nothing but junk, your body was very happy to get real food, meat, fish, poultry, and eggs. And your body was very happy that you stopped giving it processed foolishness and you started to give it low glycemic, low carbohydrate vegetables. And you even stopped eating fruit because you realized fruits were too high in sugar. Your body was very happy with that. But as you progress, your body says, hey, why are we still eating all of this carbohydrate to the level of 20 grams, what I was doing? Can we get it down to less than 18? And when I brought it down to less than 18, my body improved again. And then I got it down to under 10 and my body improved again. And then I decided to do carnivore and I brought my carbohydrates down to almost nothing. And then I was only eating meat, fish, poultry, and eggs. And I was actually salting my food, not even using spices. And my body improved again. Wellness Warrior, as you give your body what it's asking for and it cleans up, it asks for more. And I've been listening and I've been following through what my body asked me for. Now, there are a lot of people who don't have as much damage as what I have. Remember, or maybe you don't even know, maybe you're meeting me for the first time today. When I started my keto diet, I did not start it because of the weight that I was carrying, although I was 80 pounds overweight. I started my keto diet because my hip was failing and the doctors were telling me that at the tender age of 46, I was looking at a hip surgery eventually. That was what was on my horizon. And I didn't want that. 3 months later, my hip was healed. Well, healed. I don't know if it was healed, but it wasn't hurting anymore. 3 months. 5 months later, I was 80 pounds lighter. When your body asks for more, Wellness Warrior, I'm encouraging you, rather than get annoyed that your body is asking for more, be happy that your body is letting you know that it has more cleaning up to do. Because now, not only do I not need hip surgery and I weigh the right amount, I'm back to snowboarding. I'm back to longboarding. I'm back to riding my bike and rollerblades and scooters. I'm back to doing all the activities I used to do, and I've added climbing, a new activity that I was able to add because I felt amazing. When you accept lazy keto, what you're doing is giving companies money for products that they actually know aren't helping you to lose weight. They want us to feel like it's some kind of shortcut, some way that it will make dieting easier because I don't have to give up everything. But it's not. It's actually a trap, Wellness Warrior. And the reason that they're able to trap us with this, by the way, is because every single day we spend 8 hours at work, working for somebody else, making that somebody else money, and we're not enjoying our work day. Well, many of us aren't. If you're lucky like me and you love your work, you're not in that situation. But many people that I work with don't love their jobs. And then by the time they get home at the end of the day, they're exhausted. They are not able to get out and go do something fun. And so what that means is that whatever they eat is where they're actually getting their fun from. This is where happiness is coming in for them. And I'm really asking you, if you're in that story, if you get pleasure out of food because you don't have time to go and get it at the end of your day, I'm really encouraging you to invest in eating healthy so that by the time your day is over, you do have energy and you can get out there and enjoy something. And that might mean doing something fun for yourself on the weekend or whatever day you get off, because not everybody gets a day off on the weekend. But if you keep looking for easy, if you keep allowing companies to tell you that eating this processed product is good enough to help your body to heal itself, when what your body is asking for is meat, fish, poultry, and eggs. And I didn't explain to you why your body's doing that. My body is built with animal protein and fat. Now, animal protein can be acquired from meat, fish, poultry, and eggs. So if I eat those things, my body is able to rebuild me, to repair me, to help me to have the healthiest possible body. When I eat those things alongside carbohydrates, my body can still help me to rebuild if the amount of carbohydrates is low enough that I remain in ketosis. If I'm not in ketosis, my body has to treat those sugars that came in, so those carbohydrates that came in, as toxins. And when it's storing away those carbohydrates, it's also going to store away a good amount of those proteins and fats. As Dr. Fung explained, when your body is in storage mode, it's in storage mode. And he explained it like this. He said, it's as if you're going to the bank, and if you are going to put the change that you have in your wallet in the bank because you're carrying a bunch of it and it's getting too heavy, while you're at the bank, you're likely going to put the large bills into, and you're going to lighten the load altogether. And that's what your body does. It doesn't just throw the change in the bank. It throws the bills in the bank too. It's okay for us to have a small amount of carbohydrates. But when we overdo it, our body gets kicked out of ketosis. Now, who decides how much kicks us out of ketosis? And companies would love to say that they can tell you how much. They're saying, so according to the actual standard, 50 grams of carbohydrates and less is considered keto. But you'll notice that I've been saying 20 grams and less. Why do I say that? It's because the doctors that I learned from explained that for anybody who has metabolic problems, 50 grams will likely be too much. Now, what I noticed is that for myself, 20 grams was too much. But this is why the doctors say or less. You need to play with it and see how low do you need to go to get into that ketogenic state. So the companies want us to think that as long as they write keto on the product, and I actually have a video here where I talk about that, some of these products have 20 grams just in a small product, or 15 grams or 12 grams just in a small product that's supposed to be keto focused. So I'm already at my max on a snack that you're giving me. Where do I have space for my meal? When you learn to do keto and you're focusing on what the doctors tell you, you're focusing on what people like me who want you to succeed tell you, what you learn is that it's about understanding what the food, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, so those proteins and fat, that's the real food, what those foods do in your body. Carbohydrates, so all plants, whether it's a root vegetable, whether it's a grain, a seed, whether it's a leafy vegetable, all plants are carbohydrates. And when you eat those things, whether it's fresh rice or whether it's flour of some sort, they are on your plate for fun. They are not what builds your body. Your body does not ever need you to eat them because your body makes all the carbohydrates you ever need. This is what you learn when you tune in to the doctors. This is what you learn when you tune into the influencers like myself who want you to learn the reality of how to do keto. Keto treats, being the reward you get for a stressful day, is part of the trap that companies are pushing through us to get to you. They understand that you want to do keto because you see us living our healthy life in our healthy body, and they know that you don't want to give up on eating cookies. They know you don't want to give up on eating ice cream because that feels like deprivation. But we also need to understand that if the company does a good enough job of making that keto treat taste good, we overeat it. I've been there. I've done it. We need to understand that if we allow ourselves to eat the treat and it doesn't taste good, but we still want the treat, we end up allowing ourselves to have a cheat day with real stuff. And that can pull us out of keto and get us chasing, and then we're gaining weight again. I want you to understand that you are being manipulated, wellness warrior, and we feel powerless around these products because these products make us believe, or keep us believing, that the only way that we can be happy is through eating fun things because our day is taken up with work and we're too exhausted at the end of the day to go do fun things. And one of the other things that's really tough is that we don't feel addicted. Now, I will tell you that when I started keto, I didn't even fully understand the gravity of what it means to be addicted until I started to live my withdrawal. So the keto flu that we all go through when we bring our carbohydrates down low enough and we struggle with food and we feel like eating things that we are saying we're not eating anymore, that craving that happens, that you feel out of control, those cravings and that flu-like feeling we have are happening because we are living withdrawal. And I'm using the word addiction because that's what you're living. If you have withdrawal, that means that you were addicted to something. And the only thing that you actually removed was the carbohydrates from your diet. Now, I understand that you don't feel addicted. And the reason you don't feel addicted is because you've never actually tried to not eat carb-heavy things. And even on the occasions where you don't have cookies and ice cream and junk food for a period of time, you're still eating rice and pasta and potatoes and French fries. And so we still allow ourselves to have high carbohydrate foods. Pizza is a high carbohydrate food. Burger and fries is a high, we don't look at them like that because we think of sugary things as being sweet, but sugary things can also be savory because bread isn't sweet. Well, it's not sweet until you don't have it for a long time. And then when you bite into it and you're like, wow, that's what bread tastes like. Because all of a sudden you can taste the sweet when you haven't had sweet for years. So when I think to myself, well, I have a sweet tooth, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat these keto versions because they're a better option. Well, first, like I said, the keto options are not real options because they have so much carbohydrate in them. They still put us over our number. But the second problem is that if the keto thing you are eating was made well, then it's going to taste sweet because it has all these artificial sweeteners in it. And just the taste of sweetness pulls us back into the craving cycle, but also triggers fat storage because my brain doesn't know the difference between real sugar and artificial sugar. And that's something that you would know if we would not be listening to companies who are lying to us about that and actually listen to the doctors who are sharing that very important information. So one keto brownie does pull us back into our cravings because it tastes good and it tastes sweet and it has ingredients in it that push me into a craving cycle. And then I end up overeating the brownies if you're like me, and then you've actually overeaten the amount of carbohydrates anyway. And then you feel bad, right? You're blaming yourself. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why do I overeat things? And we don't realize that the salt, sugar, fat, craving, bliss point, things that companies did to get us to overeat the normal stuff, they're still doing in this keto healthy stuff because it's not actually healthy. There's too much sugar in there. And there's no animal protein and fat to help build my body anyway. It's all a trap, Wellness Warrior. All of it. It feels like every other diet that you've ever done because if you use these products, it is like every other diet you've ever done because every diet you've ever done is getting you to overeat the stuff that will make your brain chase because it's triggering that part of your brain that the sugar addiction lives in. I really hope by this point that I've helped you to see that it's trying to do the easy answer that's making you feel stuck, sick, ashamed, and like quitting the keto diet and not really understanding why you're not losing. And that's because when I'm looking for that easy answer, I'm not investing in really truly understanding what my body's trying to accomplish. Your body wants to be healthy because when it's healthy, it can heal and fix everything that's going on inside you. Because honestly, Wellness Warrior, what you need to really understand is that before we had this amazing medical system, if you got sick, the only option you had was for your body to heal you. We so lean on the fact that there's medication that can alleviate our symptoms that we don't realize that all the medication is doing is alleviating our symptoms. It is not healing the base cause that's making us overweight, inflamed. It's not healing that. The only way to actually solve that is to allow yourself to realize that what you need to do is be intentional with your keto diet. You are learning what foods are healthy: meat, fish, poultry, eggs. That's food, and that's what's healthy. Whichever kinds of meats you like, whichever kind of poultry you like, whatever fish makes you happy, and eggs, whichever kind, whichever way you want to make them. Those are the healthy things that are going to help your body to heal. And then, if you decide to do keto, the carbohydrate count needs to be low enough that your body stays in a ketogenic state. And the only way you're going to know that you're in a ketogenic state is, first of all, paying attention to how you feel and verifying that you're eating a low enough amount that keeps you feeling that you're not chasing. So your brain is not constantly focused on carbohydrates, that you are losing weight, which is another great sign that you're in a ketogenic state. You're actually losing, that you are not craving and you're not out of control with your food. Your inflammation is going away. Your body is healing. Like, the truth of the matter is, if you're in a ketogenic state and you're doing things well, you feel better. Your brain is functioning well. You're clear headed. If you were depressed or anxious or all the things, that stuff lightens, and you're able to manage life, manage stress better. The funny thing about keto is that it's not just about fixing your body, it's about fixing your body. So your brain is part of your body. Amazing things happen when you eat well, Wellness Warrior. Amazing things happen when you believe in yourself, Wellness Warrior. Going back to that idea that I'll accept anyone? No. And I won't just accept any food. I'm trying to build the best quality version of me that I possibly can, because my hope is next year I'm still climbing and riding all of my things that I like to, and snowboarding and doing all the fun stuff. And then the year after that, and the year after that, and 20 years from now, I still want to be doing these fun things. That means I need to build the best quality version of me so that my heart is healthy, my bones are strong, and I have the energy to do these things. I'm not afraid of failing at my diet because I work on it every single day. And I'm encouraging you that if you work on your diet every single day, so that, what does that mean? I cook every day and I make sure that what I'm cooking is in line with the healthy body I'm trying to build. I am not afraid of eating cookies or ice cream or whatever, because that's not part of building a healthy body. So it's not on my radar. If you only focus on one thing right now, Wellness Warrior, it's that if you commit to understanding that meat, fish, poultry, eggs are real food, and you make sure that you eat that every day, then your body will have what it needs to start building the new version of you. But it can only do that if you don't overload the system with carbohydrates. So eat less than 20 grams a day, because that's what the doctors say is what you need to do if you have metabolic issues. And all of you are watching this video right now because you have weight to lose, or you have inflammation or some kind of health thing to try to fix. But second of all, you want to keep it low, because as your body improves, it's going to ask you for more. So pay attention. Does my body show me that it needs me to do more by bringing back some problems to show me, hey, can you fix this and get those carbs down lower? That isn't a sign that the diet isn't working. It's a sign that it's working amazingly well. When you are talking about what is the healthiest thing that I can do to help my body to be at goal weight, which means that it needs to be healthy, it's eating the right food every day on repeat, no matter what. There's a party happening, I eat on plan. I go on vacation, I eat on plan. As a matter of fact, you want to check that video out where I went on vacation, came back lighter. If you do these things, Wellness Warrior, eat healthy, low carbohydrate vegetables if you eat them, eat only meat, fish, poultry, eggs as your protein source and your building blocks for your body, and you eat on plan every single day, those three things will mean that this is not just the last diet you ever do, but you are doing a human diet that keeps your body healthy moving forward. Now, this could sound like you're going to stand out in a crowd like a sore thumb, and you might wonder, how am I going to keep myself on track if I don't have anyone to talk to about this? Well, first of all, you could talk to me. Get in the comments down below and let me know what you're starting with. Where are you in the process? What are you starting with? What are you going to do right now? First of all, if you want to work with me, there's links in the description that you can work with me. And if you want to join my community, there's links in the description. Because when you have people around you doing what you're doing, or people to talk to doing what you're doing, it's easier to stay on track. I talk to you because it helps me to stay on track. And in the comments, we talk to each other and we're sharing how we solve things. And in the community, we talk to each other and we're sharing how we solve things. The best way that you can solve this health problem that you're living, the weight and the brain fog and the inflammation, that like what I have, the best way you can solve it is by realizing that you're not alone in this. We are all doing it. We just didn't realize we were doing it. So these are the videos that you want to click into. They're listed down below as well. leave me a comment, Wellness Warrior. I want to help you to change this. Let's change it together.